Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Sally Pinto and I'm from the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We launched back in January of 2020 and we're here to serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We have lots of fun programs and activities, and we also have a lot of resources for you as well. Our programs include meditation chair yoga, body mind fitness, bingo, and any other programs that you might be interested, like arts and gardening. We have our resource specialist, Alexa Smith, who can help you with finding services and activities out there for you, as well as our nurse, Barbara Simone, who can help answer your health-related questions. We're here for you, we're here for our community, and we look forward to seeing you in our programs. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alexa Smith, the resource specialist with the Yonkers Newark. I'm here to help with application assistance, referrals for home delivered meals, and transportation services will be coming soon. We also offer Zoom activities and Zoom programs. And if you have any other questions or concerns, I'm here to help. Thank you so much and enjoy the program.
Welcome. I'm Barbara Simone, registered nurse. I recently retired from Westchester County's Health Department as a public health nurse. I am now here to try to assist you with any medical or preventive care issues. Enjoy this program, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Good morning, everyone. I got a chance to say hi to some of you. So just in case you're just coming on, make sure your chair is comfortable and sturdy, and that your chair is on something also sturdy. So if you choose to do the standing portion of the class, that you are standing on something that's not slippy. And I'm a yoga instructor, so the class might be a little more yoga-y than usual, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Z briefed me, so I think it'll be comparable. So if your feet don't touch the floor when you're sitting in a chair, you might want to take some kind of prop. It could be yoga blocks if you have them, or a book or a towel, so that your feet are very rooted to the floor, because we don't want them, flying in the air, because we're going to have a whole body experience, and we like the feet to be grounded. And as Mark said, feel free to sip water and just make sure you are comfortable throughout the practice and not striving any kind of exercise you do, at least from my point of view, a yoga point of view, it ideally should not be that you're going to your edge or you're straining. It should feel good. So with that, just sit as comfortably as you can, nestle your back against the back of your chair. Uncross your legs, let your feet be parallel, rest your hands in your lap. If you can resist holding your hands, place them palms up. Close your eyes. I have a very super short reading to share with you. This is from a book written by one of the yoga teachers that I studied with in a certain style of yoga. And it's one of those books where it has a little saying for the day. So the one I picked to read with you, the title is simply Inhale, Exhale. You will all experience at least one stressful moment today, she writes. When you do, remember to inhale and to exhale. Breathing will slow you down, so you will be more likely to make the choices you enjoy in your life. And in all forms of exercise, yoga, whatever, as you know, the breath is key. If we start holding on to our breath, that will impact the fluid movements of the body that we would like to have. So sit nice and tall, and let's take just a couple of breaths here. So just breathe, not in any special way, just get the air in and get the air out. Don't even think about it. But notice as you breathe, if you feel the passageways of your breath are clear. Can you breathe clearly through your nose, for example? Or is your nose stuffy? Is your throat a little scratchy? And that's another good reason to have water. So the pathways of our breath, just like a stream, can have debris in it, can have clutter. So the water in a stream will make its way. And we've had a lot of rainy weather lately, so you know that water makes its way in. So your breath will make its way in. We want to do whatever we can to help those pathways of breath to be smooth. Notice if your eyes are still closed and you're focused on your breath, if you sense any temperature sensation. Do you feel that the breath is warm coming in or cool? Bring your awareness and your hands, if you like, to your belly and to your chest. So you don't have to use your hands if you don't want to. And just notice as you breathe what you feel in your front body. Every time we inhale and we expand in a number of directions. The front of our body lifts forward or lifts up if we're lying down. The back of the body, in a sense, moves back. And on exhale, everything kind of contracts back into the core of the body, like a rectangular shape of the entire core in the body. So you don't have to engage anything. Just notice if you feel on your exhale a little rebound, a little recoil, a little drawing in. You'll probably notice that more in the belly area. And then take a moment to visit the sides of your body. So you could bring your hands to your rib cage or just bring your awareness there. Depending on if you have arm injuries, it could be a hard place to get your hands to. Rest your hands or your awareness lightly on your ribs. And as you inhale, breathe into your width, expanding right to left. Exhale, and you might feel a small condensing or shift. The next time you inhale, bring your awareness all the way up into the armpits and inhale, breathe width into your armpits. And exhale. And then relax your hands again on your lap, palms up or down, and just take a few more breaths here, maybe 2 more breaths, and just notice on your own if you feel an expansion somewhere as you inhale. Maybe you feel your back pushing back into the back of the chair. Maybe you don't feel all that much, but don't worry, because as long as you're breathing, we're doing good. We get an A+ for breathing. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and just pick up your hands and just make some small circular motions with your wrist. If it makes more sense for you to do one wrist at a time, you could do that. So you could do just the right wrist, circle it a few times, and then back. Sometimes that lets us be a little bit more aware of what we might be sensing rather than doing both. And then your left hand, your left wrist, circle that around, getting into the joints here. We're going to try and get into a lot of different joints. And circle that the other way. And then I'm going to slide forward in my chair so I don't need my little step stools here under my feet. So slide forward in your chair enough so that you can access your ankles. I'm going to lift mine up, but you don't have to lift yours up. So, and circle your right ankle. I mean, you can lift it up, and you could do it pretty close to the ground. I'm just not sure if you could see it if my foot's down. So circle the right ankle a few times and circle it the other way. Notice if you get any snap, crackle, pop sensations. Notice if you get sensations up through the leg when you circle your ankle and do the other ankle. Circle that one around a few times. Try and keep the toes kind of calm and circle it the other way. Good. And then wiggle your toes. And again, they don't have to be in the air. So just wiggle your toes, move your toes around a little bit. And then slide forward enough in your chair so that you could look down at your feet. And I should say for this, I just realized you all might not be barefoot, but if you don't mind being barefoot for a moment, this could be a great way to get into your feet, because our feet, that's our ground force level there. So we want those to be happy. And just glance down at your feet and lift your toes up. You could do this in your shoes as well. You can move the toes around in shoes, but you won't be able to see it. And just notice or sense if all the toes are coming up or some are kind of slacking off. And then let the toes come down. And then we're going to do that 4 more times, inhaling the toes up, exhaling them down. Inhale, lift the toes, and exhale, drop the toes. Inhale, lift your toes. Exhale, drop the toes. If you don't want to sync it to the breath, that's fine, because it's a quick movement. Inhale the toes up. Usually the pinky toes can be a little lazy, and bring them down. And one more time, lift your toes up and bring them down. Good. Now reach down, grab a hold of your right foot, pick it up if you can. And if you can't, that's fine. I just want you to see. And now wiggle the toes randomly. Make some random wiggly movements with your toes. And again, you might notice that some toes have more movement than others. And you can squiggle your toes around in your shoes if you're wearing shoes. And then your other foot, just wiggle the toes around and see what movement you have in the toes. Excellent. Stay right where you are here. I'm just going to adjust. Sometimes you'll see me turning different ways. That doesn't mean you have to. If I need you to turn a different way, I'll let you know. Now extend your legs out in front of you and make sure that if you're sitting more toward the end of your chair, I have to sit pretty close to the edge of my chair to get my legs out because I'm very short. So make sure if you're sitting near the edge of the chair, you're not too near the edge so that you don't flop down. And then starting with your right ankle, just point and flex. I'll do my left so you can see. So just point and flex. Keep the heel down. And notice when you're in a pointy position, the next time you're pointing your toes, let the foot be light on your mat or on the floor. And just imagine that from above the knee upward toward your hip, there's a lengthening in that direction. And from below your knee to the front of your ankle, it's lengthening downward. And then same leg, flex the ankle. Look down at your foot and see if your foot is turned. A lot of times our big toe will be closer to us than the pinky toe. So try and even off the outer and inner edges of your feet. And with the leg relaxed enough, so the leg should be down. The foot should be down. We don't want to have the leg up. Push through the foot here in the flex position and notice how you feel. Notice what sensation you get from there. Do you feel some stretch in the back of your calf? Notice what you notice. And then come to your other leg. I think you start on your right. So come to your left leg. And we're going to do the same thing here. Heel down, and you're going to point and flex the foot. Now, if your leg isn't straight, that's fine. Again, the leg does not have to be straight, but it does need to be extended a little bit. So we're up doing pointing and flexing in the ankle. I'm trying to keep my toes quiet. We don't need to flex them, but a lot of times my toes insist on flexing. Good. And the next time you come to the pointy position, so you're extending the top of your foot, your toes ideally are down, leg doesn't have to be straight, but notice what you feel here and think about from above the knee to the thigh, energetically coming up toward the hip, and from below the knee down to the ankle, energetically drawing down toward your toes. So you're, in a sense, we're really not doing that, but that's just a way to trick the mind into thinking of how we're growing that leg. And then switch and come to the flexed ankle. Look down at your feet and make sure that your foot is even. So you don't want to be looking at the side of your right foot. You want to be looking at the top of your foot, your toenails, your knuckles, if you have shoes on, the tops of your feet. Try and relax your toes because we already did some toe pointing and flexing. Push through the heel and notice what you feel here in the lower leg and the upper leg. Notice whatever sensation in your sense connects to this, what we're doing right now. And then relax that. And since we have to remember to breathe, let's take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Lock your thumbs together like butterfly wings. And again, you don't have to sit sideways. This is just for you to see. Lock your thumbs, scoop them forward, raise them up as high as your arms will go, and then fold your hands together. So you're making like a temple with your hands over your head. Now, maybe your arms don't reach that high, so your arms could be lower. Good. And then slide the joined hands down to your heart center. Take a small turn of your head to your right. Come back to center. Take a small turn of your head to your left. And then come back to center. Lock your thumbs like this. Inhale, scoop your arms up or forward, fold your hands together, make a little temple. If you need to, bend your elbows a little bit if that feels better for your arms. So your arms could be straight and lifted, or your elbows could be bent. You could even rest your hands on the crown of your head. And think about lengthening upward through those fingertips, particularly the tallest finger, the middle finger. Think about lengthening up your whole torso, up through the spine, that includes the neck, and up through the crown of your head, through the pathway of the middle fingers, up toward the ceiling. Inhale. And exhale. And then separate your hands into a V shape. Turn your palms to face away from each other. And slowly, because this could feel weird, take your hands down with the thumbs down toward the floor. And then turn them so the palms are down. That probably feels a lot better on the shoulders. And then turn the palms up. Straighten your arms as much as you can. And then bring the arms out to the side. And then bring them forward, And we'll connect this with the breath also, but don't force the breath. Let the breath be more important than the movement. Inhale, and the arms don't have to go as wide as I'm going. Exhale, we exhale, we're just bringing them to parallel. And inhale, the widest you're gonna go is in line with your shoulders. We're not gonna take our arms back behind us. So we'll start back here. I confused myself on that one. So inhale, open, and exhale, bring them toward each other. Arms might be getting tired now, so if they are, rest them. Inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Palms are looking up. Inhale, open. Stay open. Turn the palms down. Exhale, bring the arms toward each other, this time with the palms down. Might feel different. Inhale and open. And exhale and closed. Pause, close, pause for a moment here. Pause, excuse me, for a moment. Make sure that your shoulders are as relaxed as they can be. And if you're not sure if they're relaxed or not, lift them up a little bit. And if you couldn't lift them up, that means they were too high to begin with. Soften your shoulder blades down, the tops of your shoulders rather. Inhale, the arms open. Exhale them forward and parallel. Inhale them open. Exhale forward and parallel. Bring your hands down, rest your hands on your lap, and notice if just those little movements, fairly little movements, resonated sensation up your arms or anywhere else. So let's do a few more arm stretches, then we'll come up to standing. So pick up your right hand and make like a stop sign. So this is going to stretch. So with our wrists in this position, you might feel a stretch in your forearm, and it might feel nice just the way it is. If you feel you want more stretch, take your other hand and don't push. We're not going to be aggressive with ourselves, and just gently press your fingertips against the other palm and press the palm into your fingertips. My thumb escaped there. So you're adding a little traction there. And then, so that's two opposite actions. Right hand's pressing away, left hand's preventing it from pressing away, and that will deepen the stretch if you want it deeper. And then release your hands and do the other side. This is a hairband, so you don't need that. I might need that. Stretch through your left palm. Imagine that palm is very open. Imagine you could breathe through that left palm. And then if you want more stretch in the arm, you can resist with the other hand and push your left hand, tuck in your thumb, and let your other hand kind of catch it, but keep the shoulder relaxed. Notice if you feel a nice stretch here. This could be a nice stretch if you do a lot of typing, for sure. And then release your arms down and take a breath here. Inhale and exhale, sigh it out. And then gently roll your wrists around, really super gently. And then slightly different, take your right hand out again, this time palm down, and now point the fingers down. So this is stretching in the top of the hand. You might feel a stretch in the forearm, so make sure that you honor whatever stretch you feel. If it's too much, don't flex it quite as much. And then again, if you want more sensation, place your other hand on the back of the right hand and push the right hand into the left and resist with the left. Make sure your shoulders stay fairly relaxed, not popping up. Bring your awareness to your upper back while you're here and take a breath into your upper back. Breathe into those back lungs. Good. And then relax that hand, other side, left arm now, point the fingers down. This may be more than enough. If it isn't, add resistance from the opposite arm. Any irritation, that means you're doing too much. It should not irritate the neck or the shoulder in any way. Bring your awareness to your upper back, because this position for the arms kind of broadens that upper back. You may have noticed that. And take a full breath in through the nose and imagine that you're filling the backs of your lungs. Yummy. And then release that and just super gently roll your wrists out. In a moment, I'm going to come to standing and we'll move from there. But if you're not standing today, you will see that many of the poses that we're doing are very adaptable to remaining seated. So we're coming to Tadasana, which in yoga is mountain pose. And of course, when you're standing, if you need to have your chair in front of you to support you for balance, because we're going to do a lot of balance work in a moment, and or if you just want to have like a piece of furniture nearby, feel free to use any support that you need just to feel balanced and safe when standing. And there was another reading I wanted to share with you. Ah, here it is. So it's a reading especially for Tadasana. So set your feet parallel, the outer edge is nice and straight, and just stand very tall and very alert, but without a lot of muscle squeezing. So, let your butt be soft, your legs be soft. So just use enough energy to keep you upright. Take your arms down by your side and close your eyes. You can keep your eyes closed through this whole reading if you like. It's very short, but if you need to open your eyes, open them. This reading from Judith Lassiter's book, the little nugget is, I am a ship under full sail. Stand up and spread your arms out wide. So you can do that if you like. Take a deep breath and say aloud, I am a ship under full sail. Celebrate your power. So whether you are sitting or standing, even at work, your coworkers might look at you kind of funny and you just need a little respite, having a hard day, all the phones ringing, you got so much to do. Raise your arms up if you can. You could always raise just one arm up. And if you're at work, you might not want to say it out loud. You could just think it, or maybe you want to say it out loud. I am a ship under full sail. I am a ship under full sail. Join your hands together, slide your hands down to your heart, and open your eyes. So join your thumbs as we did, I think we did that in the beginning of class. As you inhale, lift your arms up, take your arms up, fold your hands together. So you have like prayer hands. As you exhale, slide your hands down as you engage your core slightly on the exhale. Inhale, lock your thumbs, take your arms up, fold them together, finger to finger. Let each finger find its mate on the other hand, slide the hands down. Now you may notice that you might be engaging your leg muscles a little bit more because we're standing longer, and that's okay. So maybe you want to do a very gentle hugging of the outer hips toward the inner, in a sense. So hugging your outer hips toward the midline. Lock your thumbs, inhale, take the arms up. This time, separate your hands and take them into a little V shape like we did a few moments ago. Take a breath here, and then turn your palms to face away from you. And as you lower your arms, add a little tension in the sense that imagine you had to push something down. So firm your upper arms a little bit and just push against the air. And the moment your arms come back by your side, let your body go slack and soft. Relax your hips, relax your butt, shake it out a little bit. So let's start with some simple balances because I don't know where you are with that. And balance really is never simple. You can have a day where it just doesn't work. So we're going to start with the simplest one, and then we'll do some more complicated, more challenging, and you can pick whichever ways you like to do it. So if you're standing behind your chair, stand in Tadasana, stand with strength and style, just like a mountain. When you see a picture of a mountain, you're like, wow, that's awesome. So you are that awesome mountain. And then from here, just lift your right heel. So you're already shifting your weight over to your left leg. Now you could do one of two things. If you're new at balance or balance is a challenge for you today, you could just take the toes up and put them down, take the toes up and put them down. And you can continue doing that. Or you can lift the toes up and stand on that one leg. You can have both hands down on the support of a chair. You could have just the fingertips. You could have no hands, or you could take your arms up. So remember, you're either holding the bent leg up or you're tapping the toes up and down to get the feel. And you're trying to keep the body as still as you can, which is a challenge, no doubt. And then place the right foot down, shake the legs out a little bit. When we do balance poses, particularly when we get to the yoga pose tree, a lot of times we can be told to aim for complete stillness. The body is never still. There's always stuff going on in your body. There's always processes going on in your body. So you're better off moving a little bit than being rigid, would be my suggestion. So now you go do the other side. So notice you're standing on 2 feet, feeling pretty good. And now lift the left heel, keep the toes and the ball of the foot down. So you're already shifting your weight around a little bit. You're shifting your center of gravity to a certain extent. Think about the outer hips gently hugging the midline, the outer hips moving in, and then you could either lift the toes and put them down. Lift the toes, hold for 2 or 3 and put them down. So you could do a continuous movement, or you could lift the toes and just practice there, holding the one-legged position. And then you could experiment with your arms. You might find that one side is very different from the other in terms of steadiness. You also might find if you're talking and looking at a screen, that affects your steadiness too. We'll talk more about that in a moment. You can raise your one or both arms up. And even here, we could be a ship under sail. As you inhale, lengthen the crown of your head and your fingers toward the sky. Let yourself be a ship in full sail with one leg up. And then bring the arms down, bring the leg down, and shake it out. So that's just an idea of what it would be if the chair's in front of you. So now my chair is going to be invisible for this one. So come back to Tadasana. We'll do one more balance challenge here, and then we'll move on. We're going to be doing a toe stand. So before we were standing on one leg. Now both legs are always going to be down to a certain extent. So with a chair in front of you, if you need to, set your gaze at something that you could not stare at, but that will hold your attention. In yoga, we call that a drishti, and it is a focus point, because if you're looking around the room, your balance is going to be really challenged because your eyes are going one way, you want your body to be still. So see if you could find something you could focus on opposite you, not necessarily your screen, because your instructor might tip over, and then we'll have the whole forest tip over. So let your arms hang loosely by your side. And then as you inhale, see if you could float both heels up just a smidgen and try and go as straight up as you can, not pitching forward. Hold on if you need to. Exhale, place your heels down. So I'm going to add some pieces here, and you could choose to add the variations, or you could stick with your basic classic toe stand, which is inhaling the heels up, try and stay even across the forefoot, and exhaling them down. Or here's one piece you could add. You could start lifting the heels and synchronizing that with lifting one arm. So you could inhale, lift your heels up, and take your right arm with you. And as you exhale, you can think about coordinating the arm coming down roughly at the same time as the heels, which is challenging because the arm has a long way to go and the heels don't. Second side, inhale, lift your left arm up if you like. And as you exhale, glide that arm down. Pause here. Let the weight settle back into your heels. Relax your toes. So we want weight definitely in the center front of the heel, and on the outer and inner edge of the foot, and on the toe mounds, the knuckles, but really not so much weight on the toes. I mean, they're important, but if we grip with the toes a lot, that can ultimately impact a number of things in our legs and our gait as well. So try and let your toes be relaxed. I'm going to do one more alternating version with you. Inhale, heels up, gaze steady, right arm. Exhale, you might feel a slight condensing in your core as you lower down. Second side, inhale, lift. And exhale and lower. Shake it out. If you have concerns about balance, and as we get elderly, as we get older, if our bodies have osteopenia or osteoporosis, a fall is going to be a lot more unpleasant. So you could do one of these things every day just to play around with your balance. So another way to experience the toe stand is with both arms up. So you could start it with no arms up, go to one arm up, or both. I'll do a few with you like that, and I'll add some arm movements in case you're interested. And of course, if you're sitting, you could be lifting your heels up while you're sitting and taking your arms with you. As you inhale, take both arms up. As you exhale, flip your palms and lower your arms back to your side, heels down. So I just want to mention, I don't know we do want a little engagement of the hips here for stability. So think during these movements, the outer hips, the outer glutes are squeezing toward the midline. And also, you might think that your lowest part of your butt cheeks, I get this from my teacher, Karen Sapphire. She's someone I study with a lot. So she talks a lot about butt cheeks. So if you reach back and you feel just the lowest part of your behind, really above the crease, that's a really important area to tone up. So think about squeezing a little bit there, firming that up, and then try it again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, arms out and down to your side. So my inner foot really lifted up there. So I'm going to try again, see if I can keep my feet more steady. Inhale, lift the arms up with the heels or one arm. And as you exhale, sweep your arms down to the side. Good. So then the next phase of this balance, this is the last piece, is to stay with the toes lifted and hold it for a few breaths. You can do that with a chair in front of you. You could stay lifted for one breath. You could stay lifted for 3 breaths, one arm up, both arms up. Another thing that actually makes it somewhat simpler than you would think is to take something small and light, because if you drop it on your feet, you don't want it to be heavy. So a yoga block, or even a little book or a soft small pillow, and take it overhead with you. So you could do that with me if you like. Inhale, lift both heels. If you like, if it's appropriate for you, lift both arms. Set your gaze at your drishti and breathe. Think about a mountain. And when you see, I always say a picture, some of you might see mountains more than I do. We don't have a lot of mountains in Yonkers. So what do you like best about mountain? Do you feel that its steadiness calms you? Its beauty makes you smile? The fact that there's this beautiful creation from nature, maybe it makes you feel very peaceful. Be that mountain, feel that feeling. And while you're doing that, you might be not realizing that you balance longer than you thought you could. And then when you're ready, gently lower your heels at whatever was up, lower it down. Take that to your side and give it a good shake out. Give it a good shake. Okay. Now, turn to face the length of your mat. We're going to do in yoga warrior one pose, which uses a number of muscles, a full body movement. You could have a chair in front of you. Join your hands at the heart center. Inhale. And as you exhale, release your arms. As you inhale, glide your arms forward and up. As you exhale, lower your arms, pick up your right foot, step your right leg back. Your legs should be like 2 scissor blades. So not as close as scissor blades, but they're not on the same line. And the feet are as wide as they need to be for you to feel stable. The front foot is neutral with the knee pointing forward. The back foot is slightly turned out with the knee kind of in line with the second or third toe. Now, wrap your hips forward to the wall that you are facing and see if you can keep them that way as we go through a moving or dynamic variation of warrior one. Left hand could be on your hip or rest on your thigh. It gets a moment off here. And as you inhale, bend your front knee, keep your hips wrapping forward, raise your right arm up. As you exhale, coordinate the straightening of the leg and the lowering of the arm. My arm took way more time to come back. And I'm going to do that with you, let's say 3 more times for a total of 4. Inhale, bend the knee, raise the arm up. Keep wrapping that right hip forward so the hips are even. Exhale, straighten the leg and lower the arm. Gaze forward, eyes soft. Inhale into Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, back to straight legs, arm by your side. One more moving. Inhale and exhale. We'll do this one more time, but we'll hold it for a few breaths. So I want to remind you of a couple of things, or introduce you to a couple of things. When we bend the knee, we don't want to bend it so the knee is over the toes or beyond the toes. You could do just the littlest bend. If we bend the knee too much, it throws off the hip position and your knee might not be so happy. The back of your back foot ideally is touching. So if it isn't touching, feel free to scoot the foot a little forward to the front end of your mat. But whatever you do, don't try and force that back heel down. Never want to do force. I see people do that. I gotta get that heel down. Square your hips to the front. And on this one, we're going to hold the pose for a few breaths. So if it becomes too much is too much, come right out of it. As you inhale, both arms now, breathe into warrior one. And here we can stay. Separate your fingers, shine your fingers to the sky. See if you can relax the toes of your left foot. See if you can invite your back leg calf to relax. If you have tight calves, and I do, they're probably screaming. So imagine that your back leg calf is like a pat of butter melting in a pan, and it's melting, softening, and as it melts, sliding down your Achilles tendon and inviting your back heel to surrender to the ground even more. On your next inhale, think about lifting up through the energy of your fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, release your arms. Pick up your back heel. You could pause here if that feels okay on your back forefoot. And then step the back foot up. Take as many steps as you need to get it up there. And when it gets up there, notice if it landed in Tadasana parallel to the other foot or completely out of whack. It's all good as long as you made it up there. Stand in Tadasana, mountain pose again. Notice how you feel. Think about that mountain. Beautiful, peaceful, strong. Been hot, maybe we want to think of a snowy mountain that has a little snow on it to cool us off. Lift both arms. We're going to do the pose on the second side. I haven't forgotten, at least not yet. Take the arms up, relax your shoulders. And if you like, add the toe stand. That's up to you. Say to yourself or say it out loud, I am a ship under full sail. If you have a tendency to lift your tail and shorten your low back, lengthen your tail down, so that low back feels nice and broad. And then if your heels were up, bring them down. Inhale a breath here, and as you exhale, second side of warrior one, take the left leg back and the right foot forward. Square your hips in front of you. So if you had headlights like a car, you want your headlights shining on that wall as evenly as you can. Your hips are not open. That's a different pose. Find a position, a relationship between the two legs that allows your back heel, if possible, to come down without force. So your warrior one could be here and your knee bend could be like that. It doesn't have to be a really big pose. People with long legs, it looks, really huge. So we're going to focus on moving and then holding it. So rest your right hand on your right leg. Take your left arm by your hip. The back leg arm is the one we move. And as you inhale, bend the front knee, lift the left arm up. As you exhale, straighten the leg, left arm down. Pause whenever you need to. Inhale, bend the front knee, lift the arm. Exhale, lower down. So the reason why we add one arm and why it's the back leg arm, because when we do warrior one, among the things we're doing in this pose, the back leg side receives a lot of stretch. Maybe you feel it more in the chest. You might feel it more in the front of the hip or in the front of the thigh, and taking the left arm up enhances that stretch. Pause here. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did on the other side. Now we're going to hold the pose for a few breaths. So now's your chance. If you're getting tired, step the back foot forward a little bit, be a little more subdued. If you feel that you didn't have as much room to bend your knee as much as you like, go a little longer in the legs. You can do both arms this time like we did on the first side, or you can keep both hands on your hips. Inhale into Virabhadrasana 1. Shine your headlights of your hips forward. Think about your outer hips firming toward the midline, and see if you can access a little support from the very lowest muscles. I think it is called gluteal fold muscles. I'm not sure. You can look that up. Shine your fingertips toward the ceiling. Make sure you're not overarching your back or pushing your ribs forward. Warrior one includes a back bend. The shape we're in is a back bend, but we don't want to force it and end up like that. Ow, definitely don't do that. So we want it to be the back bending piece kind of is incorporated in the shape of the pose and what we did to get here. When you're ready, inhale, straighten that front leg. As you exhale, lower your arms down, pick up the back heel. Oh, that's intense. And then step the back foot forward to meet the front and set your feet to parallel. Notice how you feel. 2 more standing poses that will give both stretching and straightening depending on which side we're doing it. So take the feet wide for warrior 2, spin your right leg out and turn your left leg in. It's the whole leg bone moving in the hip socket. We don't want to force the biggest opening or the biggest closing. So sometimes your teacher will say your middle toe is looking toward the wall opposite you. That's only if you have very open hips to begin with. So don't force your hips to get into a place that doesn't feel natural. Set your hips so they're in line with your shoulders. So if one hip is hiked up, imagine that your hips are like the gem of a drop earring and the hips are dropping down. Join your hands together at the heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. So like Warrior 1, what they have in common includes one leg is straight and one leg is bent. Turn your gaze toward your bent knee side, get a little stretch in the neck, and glance down at your knee. If your knee is really collapsing inward, you could do one or two things. You could gently, manually bring the leg out, or you can line up the foot with the knee. So you have to, where the knee is pointing is less important than that your hips are in a correct position for your body. It varies a lot from person to person. Reach your inner straight leg long. Reach your outer straight leg long. Feel the length in that straight leg. When you're ready, turn the palms up, engage your core. So think about the belly coming in, your whole body coming into a little bit more of a cylinder, so that when you lift up, it's not so much work for the knee to straighten and bend, so that it's getting a lot of support from the hip it's connected to. Parallel your feet and pause. Warrior 2, second side. So here we're externally rotating the left leg. The lower leg could turn out more. So let the turnout come from the inner upper thigh and make sure it feels natural and comfortable. And then turn the other leg slightly in. Your heels are roughly either in line or the left leg heel in line with your inner arch. So they should not be like one foot at the front edge of your mat and one foot at the back. Your headlights are shining forward. Your heart is shining forward. Bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale. And as you exhale, Warrior 2, second side. You could keep your hands down. If your arms are getting tired, keep them down. So technically, we're bending the knee, aiming, theoretically, if you look at pictures in a yoga book, of a right angle, and the thigh bone parallel to the floor, but that might not be right for your body. But the most important thing is not to shoot the knee over your toenail. So you should be able to see your toes and say, oh, there are my toes, aren't they awesome? Take your arms out wide. You can knit your fingertips together if you like. You could take your fingers wide. You could relax your hands, but point them down like we did in that stretch in the beginning of class. You could relax the hands, but flex the wrists so the fingertips are pointing up like we did in the beginning of class. Or you could just relax them out straight. On your next inhale, from the gentle connection of your feet to the earth, lift your body and your mind up toward the sky. Let your hands join each other overhead. Slide your hands down to your heart, parallel your feet, toe heel your feet together. If you need to hydrate, do that. I turned off my air conditioning, which I'm now regretting, but the air conditioner is so loud, and as you can see, it's right behind me. So let's come to our last balance pose, which again incorporates strength, length, toning, stability, and ultimately safety. So you've probably done tree before. So you can have your chair in front of you. Mine is invisible because I don't want it to block my legs in case you need to look at the screen and see what's going on. So the leg position of tree mirrors what we did in Warrior 2 in the sense that one leg remains straight, the other leg is bent, and the hip turned out. So stand firm on your right leg. Lift the heel of your right foot. Remember that balance challenge, and just notice how that affects your balance right there. And if that's where you want to work with your foot like this, that's fine. Then pick your foot up off the floor if that feels okay. And then if it feels okay with the foot lifted, externally rotate that leg. Then point the toes and either connect your foot to your shin or slide the foot down So your heel is nesting against your shin, your toes are flexed on the floor. If you've done a lot of yoga or if you've done a lot of this in your other class, you can definitely place your foot to the thigh, but what you shouldn't do is place the foot on the knee. And unfortunately for a lot of us, oh, it goes really nice there. It kind of wraps itself around the structure of the knee, but that's precisely where we don't want it. Our inner knee does not appreciate that over time. Join your hands together or hold on to a support with one or both hands. Invite your hips to gently squeeze toward the midline. Invite your inner groins to gently squeeze toward the midline and find a little lift from those gluteal folds. And from that lift, up, 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 grow your branches or one branch, or maybe no branches at all, just your intention and the crown of your head is reaching toward the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. If you're practicing this at home, you can work up to holding it for more time. You can maybe even hold it for 30 seconds or so. If you'd like to build not only stability, but to help strengthen the bone. When you're ready, release. Draw your arms down, release the bent leg foot, come to standing. And notice how your legs feel right now. Usually, after I do tree, it depends where I do it in a class, the leg that was the straight leg and the foot feel a little tense. So I'm going to shake out that standing leg and try not to tense up the standing leg quite so much. But of course, the standing leg is taking a lot of the weight. So when you're ready, stand in Tadasana and then bend your left knee. I believe you're on your left leg. So the left heel is up. Here you might stay. This is a perfectly reasonable tree, perfectly fine for your garden. If it feels okay, lift the leg up, turn it out, connect the foot to the standing leg, below the knee, completely below, completely above, or down to the floor with the toes down. That's nice for your toes also. You could take your arms out to the side if you prefer. You could do whatever you like with your arms, including keeping them grounded. Palms up, palms down. The classic tree is arms up in a V shape. Wobbling in tree is quite normal. So set your gaze, if you remember the drishti, the place you can stare at, something in the distance, something on the wall. If you're fortunate enough to have a window opposite you, you can look out at an actual tree and be that tree. Be that tree. And trees move, as you know, when it's windy, they sway. In fact, if trees don't sway, they're typically not so healthy. They are supposed to sway a little in the wind. Inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, float your hands together. Finger to finger, slide the hands down. Release the bent leg foot, turn that hip forward, place your foot down, bring your arms by your side. So the very first standing pose we did was Tadasana, and we did that little meditation of being a ship under full sail. So now our ship is kind of pulling into the harbor because we did our practice, but we still want to be ship shaped, so to speak. So stand tall with enough alertness in the body so that you're not like doing a slacker stand. Relax your shoulders. Let gravity take your arms. Soften your toes. Soften your bottom. Soften your jaw. Close your eyes if you like. Take a breath here. Easy inhale. Smooth exhale. We're going to finish up our practice in the chair. We're going to do one twist because we didn't do a twist yet, and I want to get one in. And then we get a few minutes to relax. So come back to sitting in your chair and make sure your feet are anchored, and also make sure that you're not leaning against the back of the chair because we want to keep our spine long without the support of the chair. If you have a prop, if and only if, and again, it has to be something light like a yoga block or a soft book or a pillow, you can place the block in between your thighs, just like a spacer bar, so that when you do the pose, your knees and your heels stay in line and they don't do like one doesn't come forward, one knee doesn't come forward, or you don't do a Mary Poppins. So that's the sole reason of doing that. Sit nice and tall. Make sure you're not leaning forward. Your shoulders should be roughly in line with your hips, like a rectangle shape. The back of the head drawn back, the ears over the shoulders. So we're going to twist to your right. So take your right hand and place it on your outer thigh or on the chair, whichever is more reachable. Take your left hand, place it on the prop if you have a prop, or place it on whichever leg it lands comfortably to start when you're getting into the pose. You don't have to reach right away to the outer right thigh. We want our twist to come from the spine, the beautiful revolving quality, spiral staircase quality that our spine has, and not pulling ourselves into it with our arms. As you inhale, find that upright length of your spinal column. And as you exhale, wrap your shoulder girdle a little bit to your right. Pause there. Check in with your legs, make sure they're parallel, roughly where they were when you started. You might find once you've twisted, you can now easily take your arm to your outer right leg to support the twist rather than to create the twist. Let your head turn into the twist. Now, as you remain in this twist for, let's say, 2 more breaths, you could stay right where you are. If you feel like you're straining, come out of the twist a little bit and spin your rib cage a little back forward. If you feel that you have more room to twist in, inhale again, find the length of your spine. As you exhale, condense your belly a little bit and see if your rib cage and spine will wrap a little bit more. We know the head can turn, so we don't want to lead our twist from the head. Let the head kind of follow along like a friend that's walking just a little bit behind you because your pace is a little faster. As you inhale, think of your spine lengthening. As you exhale, think of the condensing that we explored briefly at the beginning of class, condensing of the torso as the ribs feel like they're coming back in from the position they're in when you inhale. On an inhale, unwind your spine and come forward. Second side, if you don't like the block or whatever you use, take it to the side. So now we're twisting to your left. So your left hand is going to go to your hip, your thigh, or the outside of your chair. Right hand to either thigh. Just let it be on something so it's grounded. As you inhale, lift and lengthen. Feel your sitting bones down, the crown of your head up. And as you exhale, take a small twist to your left. And once you've twisted, let the arms support the twist. So we want the arms to be really in line with the shoulders, so not reaching way back. I mean, sometimes there are alternative versions with the arms, but keep your arms reaching from the shoulders. Let the rib cage lead you into the twist, not your head. And what I didn't say so correctly before, we talked about in the beginning of class. So bring your awareness to your side ribs. And as you inhale, as you breathe, you might feel like your ribs are widening. They don't actually widen, but they do slide. So it is like a widening effect. And as you exhale, notice if you feel kind of almost a yielding of the rib cage, the side ribs back toward the center. It's very subtle. I don't always really feel that unless my hands are actually on my rib cage. Take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, slowly unwind, turn forward, release whatever prop you may have had in between the knees and sit back in your chair. Now you're at home, so if you want to lie down, you can lie down. Let yourself be as comfortable as you can. So we give ourselves our little treat now, a little rest. So when we were a mountain, we may have celebrated our height or the beauty or the stability. And when you're a tree, you could celebrate your strength, also your beauty, whatever quality you like in trees. So here, imagine what it feels like or what it looks like to be relaxed. So since I love cats, I often use them as a reference. If you see a cat sleeping and resting, they are a big pile of mush. Allow yourself to be that big pile of mush. Imagine your muscles softening like that pat of butter I mentioned in the beginning of class, melting. You don't have to keep your legs parallel here. Your legs can separate wider. Let your arms be comfortable. Inhale and exhale. You may likely experience at least one stressful moment today. When you do, remember to breathe. Breathing will slow you down, so you will be more likely to make the choices you enjoy in your life. I invite you to make the choice now of relaxing deeply. Bodies in motion also need to be bodies in stillness. Close your eyes like soft curtains. Soften your jaw. Separate your lips. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. If you're sitting upright, use just the energy you need to stay upright and safe in your chair, and let go in every other way you can. Inhale, exhale. Let your body breathe itself, naturally receiving the inhale and releasing the exhale. Letting the inhale that nurtures us bring in a quality you desire, peacefulness, calmness. As you exhale, let go of something you don't need. Give yourself a gift of a few minutes of stillness. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just you, a big pile of mush, soft and still. To prepare to emerge from your cocoon of stillness, bring your awareness back to your breath. Notice your inhale and notice your exhale. You may want to take a deeper breath or a sigh or a big old yawn. You may want to stretch your limbs, reach your arms up, stretch them out. Do a small rolling of the shoulders. And when you're ready, join your hands together one more time. And notice if that time, if they just magnetically went right toward each other. Lift your heart up toward the sky and bow your head slightly. Thank your body for all it offered you. I wish you a joyful and peaceful day, and always remember to breathe. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.